morning, dear Boris, and it's really nice to have you today during our lecture course. And today we have Professor Boris Aberšek from University of Maribor from Slovenia, and we are not going to speak about educational system in Slovenia because more or less we know about it, but it's the main focus possible will be on technology and in connection with artificial intelligence, which is a very hot topic today, and not only today. And it would be nice like a summary of all our course, because we discussed quite a lot about different technologies, different educational systems, etc. And we will continue possible next month during exam session also. Professor Boris is really well-known scholar, well-known researcher, and obviously a good friend of mine, and he works not only in, let's say, education area, but also in technology, because his main background is mechanical engineering and plus pedagogy, education. By the way, professor has two degrees, one in engineering and one in PhD in philosophy, or PhD in education. And this is really good background, and also good professional experience, large professional experience in different areas. Okay, Boris, please start.
Yep, thank you for this introduction. You know, it's not necessary to share so much good information about me. But yes, okay, as Professor Lamanauskas says, I will talk a little bit about education in the future, let's say. And we all know that till now the education somehow develop smoothly, and they don't have some disturbance. But let's say after 2022 and also after Corona, we must somehow change our way how to prepare the educational milieu and how the education are changing. So we are somehow in the phase of not just generative development, but we must on the way of transformation, all this. So if we are talking about the transformation generally refers to a deep and sustained non-linear systematic changes. So we can't continue with the way that we are doing till now. We must really very seriously change our way of thinking. We must seriously change the system of distribution knowledge to the student. We must make really serious rethinking about how and what we would like to do. So if we talking about the society, we talk about association of the individuals with their specific skills and with their specific behavior, because society from the history, it's a group or grouping of the human beings to reach some prescribed goals. But we must also take into account different culture in which these social groups are working. We must thinking about the environment, and we must of course talking about the social evolution. And interpersonal relationship are divided in different level. So the simplest level social grouping Today is the family. The second is educational, which is very important, and they prescribe or they preparing the use, how in which direction we are developing. And if we are talking about the social transformation in sociology, societal transformation refers to a deep, sustained, non-linear changing. And in this picture, we saw how we are somehow connected. Let's say we can say in the center of this fictional social network diagram is, for example, the school, and then we have a different satellite around, which mean the different way of thinking. But in the past, society was marked by relation between human in one way, between peoples, and between the world. In the world, we are meaning everything what happened around us. World is our environment, our society, and so on and so on. But in the 21st century, we must point out two things. Let's say in today's society, we can start from the thesis that the world is not one. There are two worlds. We have in one side the physical world, our world in which we are living, and on the opposite side we have some kind of, let's say, cyber world in which interview and complement each of other. Such integrated world has two entities. We can name these intelligent or whatever. So in one side, we in the physical world, we are the human with our intelligence, with our habit, with our way of living, and the opposite side we develop artificial intelligence. And on the base of artificial intelligence, we develop a different kind of artificial life form. And this artificial life form has two manifestations. One is physical, or with the artificial intelligence, with the body, we saw these entities, and it's in the form of intelligent machine. We saw the robots, we saw everything what have the physical form, but we have also some non-physical, incorporeal form of intelligent agent. So someone or some entities which we don't see here, it is here, but it's invisible. For example, like chat, like everything what is on the computer. And this cyber world, we can say it's the world in which this non-physical, incorporeal form of artificial intelligence live. The ALF exists, this artificial intelligent life form exists in the boat, in the physical world. So we saw the robot, it's working with us in the factory, it's working with us also in the factory, because in the school, because we are many times using different kind of robot or different kind of intelligent system just to present something, but they are living also in a non-physical cyber world. So we are using chat, we are using, I don't know, bot for translation, bot for communication, and so on and so on. And in the contrast, a human can only exist in the physical world, and the non-corporeal form are also existing only in the cyber world. From humanistic point of view, we can put a very important question, and that's the beginning of the real beginning of my presentation. Who will teaching in the 21st century? Who will be the teacher who will be the entities who will bring the knowledge to the student, to the people. We all know, or we can ask, will be teacher in different culture, milieu, or will be something else, something in the physical form as a humanoid artificial life form as a teacher, or will be some invisible form of life. And this could be the real questions, because we must somehow really rethink the way of our living, maybe. So if we are talking human, vice versa, artificial life form, at the same time, it's necessary to develop a clear awareness and better understanding what it means to be a living being, what it means to be a human. Where is our way or our space in this physical, non-physical world? But if we go back to the school, the main premise of education is that young brains come to school to learn, and the older brains come to school to teach them. At least that's the basic idea. But fundamental questions could be, can cognitive science, everything what develop in our society, everything what we are developing, that means the cognitive science, the other way of changing the education, can we all this knowledge bring something new in educational milieu? So how are older brains supposed to teach younger one to achieve optimal results? Or these older brains, or these brains could be ours, human brains, or could be also artificial one, because we all know that after 2022, the way how to student getting knowledge, preparing seminar work, and so on, they base also quite big on the way of using chat, on the way of using artificial intelligence, and so on. So the fact of education is that the school loses the role of knowledge transmission. Man is losing the role of storage of knowledge, because the school is no more, or the teacher is no more one person, one human who transfer knowledge from himself to the student, because we are all talking about the problem-based learning, research-based learning, and so on. The main premise is that we must put the student in the active role. We're all talking about the constructivism, which main premise is that nobody can give the knowledge to another one, because everyone must create their own knowledge. So this transmission, or this rule that teacher will teach, behavioristical rule, the teacher will teach the student must remember, and then when we try to assess them, they must repeat what the teacher are tell. So also the man is losing the role of storage of knowledge, because the young people said, why I need this knowledge, another knowledge, because I have my phone in my hand and I can got any knowledge, whatever I want, in every minute, every fast. So why I can must remember everything stupid, let's say, sorry for this word, stupid things. And the technology is losing the role of motivator per se and to be without control, because in the previous time everyone, when we mentioned, oh, we are going in the computer room, everyone said hurrah, it's motivating and so on. But today everyone have all this technology only one step away, so the technology is no more something that motivates people to using it. So school, but we must set or we must point out what is the same to all education process in any timeline, in any part of the time. We always tell the school is school for real life, so we must to learn in some laboratorical way, in one safe way, how or what will happen of our real life. But we must ask what real life mean. We must say today the real life is something quite different than, the real life of your parent or your grandparent, the real life in the previous milieu. So we must point out that in this milieu in 21st century, the drastically changes are happening in our real life. So everything are changing so fast and in so strange way. Let's say that we must really first must define what the real life really mean. If just go through the development of humanity, we know that in the first period we are the hunting society. That means they start at the beginning of human beings. Then we establish that okay, it's also good if we develop some techniques, some agricultural techniques. So we step in the agrarian society when we develop the machine. We start with the industrial society, and at the end of the 20th century we step somehow in information society. So we develop the let's say computer, and the information society starts to live. But from the 21st century we start talking about the society 5.0. We started talking about the super smart society. But if we saw a relation between information and super smart society, we can establish that the way of thinking in the human society is not so different. So we are we are not more smart than our parents. We are not more smart than in the previous time. So the human society or the humans are more or less in the last let's say 70 years or 100 years same on the same level of smartness, same level of information. It's true that we have more information. It's true that we reach whatever we like. We can have the opportunity to get the information, but general looking, the human in the last 100 years stay in the same computer power, if we using these words at the same level. But the computer, they are really developed in the last, let's say, 70, 100 years drastically. If we put together human and computer, yes, of course, human and computer, they form information society. And yes, of course, we are smarter, but no because we are smarter, but because we have the technology which increase our smartness, which increase our capabilities to solve the problem and so on. And if we continue with the 21st century, or if we add artificial intelligence to this computer power, of course, then we can become the super smart society. But the main question is what happened with the human, because nothing drastically changed, I don't know, from end of 20 to 21st century. We are equal smart, nothing happened with us. It's the question, maybe if we losing some capabilities. I can use the word of one of our politicians. You know, they said the human are stupid, not the smart, because, and if you are looking what happened today in the world, it could be something good or good definition about this. But okay, if we are leaving all this discussion about smartness and stupidness, the fact is that if just look the relation, the human and the computer, we saw that the more and more valued, more and more this super smart part in our society is the part of computer, and less of them is the smart of human. So in research, we start talking about in the last period of we start talking of mental laziness, you know, because we said, okay, it's not important to make some summary. Chat will make all of this. It's not important to write down some essay. Artificial intelligence will prepare this for us, you know. But we all know that all this way analyzing, preparing the summaries and so on is, according to the Bloom, high level work. So we somehow said we don't know the knowledge because we have everything, all information we have in our smartphone. Then we said, okay, we are not, which is the lowest level of Bloom taxonomy. And we said, okay, it's not necessary to analyze and so on, which is on the top of the Bloom taxonomy. So it's the question where we are staying, what's really our role in the society, and of course it's the question in which direction our society must move, and it's the question in which direction the education must go. You know, is it really good that we are using artificial intelligence in any situation in school? Because it's good, because it's, you know, we get very fast very fast all information. We get very fast different solution for the problem, different answer, and so on. So it's really the problem in which direction we are going. And if we are talking about the real life, okay, I prepared just a few one slide. Which skills are important for the real life. So only in the let's say from 2015 to 2020, we'd say in 2050 the complex problem solving is important, coordinating with other people, management, critical thinking, negotiation, quality control, and so on and so on. And then we saw in the 2020 the complex problem solving still on the first place, but the critical thinking become more and more important. The creativity become more and more important. The people management, the coordinating with other, and the new, it's very important, emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence mean that we are aware that we are the human. We can manage ourselves, and we can manage also our society. And cognitive flexibility is important. But after 2020, a lot of this changing, because for the complex problem solving we are using artificial intelligence. We losing critical thinking, because we I can use the hard word, but we can found the new God. We believe everything what artificial intelligence said, and we all know that in our global world, in the internet, it's more and more fake news, more and more information are producing, and artificial intelligence can very fast and very convenient produce different kind of information. And we are no more fighting with the weapon, we are fighting with the information, which is very important. So today, or let's say yesterday, the time when we are living, we know that today never exists, because we have only past and we have only the future, because present is just very small parts between past and the future. We understand that the knowledge that formed on the basis of progress in the 19th, 20th centuries is insufficient in the modern world, in today's world, in 21st century. So we must somehow rethinking our way of thinking. So we can name this cognitive modeling, which is the new way how to preparing transferring the knowledge from old brain to the young brain. And if we just look down in 1958, Skinner prepared the theory of the programmed instruction or program sequence, which he proposed as early as 1995. And according to Skinner, the basic and the most important goal of the programmed instruction is to implement it learning in the controlled environment. And that's what we are doing. We are preparing some learning environment, and we somehow, if the main actor in this learning environment is teacher, then we have some intuitive way of teaching, because the teacher have the contact with the student. The teacher can saw what happened in the class, and the teacher can change the way how they transform this information. But if we start talking about the artificial intelligence, or if we start talking about learning environment controlled by artificial intelligence, then everything must be very strictly prescribed what and when. And if something happened in this system, then could be the problem. We all know the stories about autonomous self-driving car. The self-driving car can drive when everything is between these limits. If something happened, then the human must intervene in this. So, from one side we have mental laziness, we putting the student in this way, and the opposite side, we must act in really problematical situation. But okay, and Skinner in that time in 1958 said, if we would like to prepare a learning controlled environment, it should provide information in smaller set. It is instead for self-learning and enables immediate assessment of knowledge, feedback to learners. That's everything is true. But in our classical school we have still 45 minutes long hour, and so on and so on. So if we start talking about education in 21st century, we must start talking about, let's say, I name it education 5.0. So we got the new kind of problem, as we saw, and this new kind of problem requires, of course, the new method of solution, and requires a new way of thinking. And if we talking about solution, I because we don't have a lot of time, I will put only one possible way in which we can moving. So new way of thinking or new way of education must somehow incorporate what we are now, what we get information from neuroscience, cognitive science. We must somehow rethink cognitive modeling in our way of thinking. Maybe this cognitive modeling is let's say complicated word or strange word, but we are doing all this because every teacher, before they step in the class, they are thinking what will prepare their hour in the class. So they preparing some plan, they model some plan of the hour before they are stepping in the class. So this cognitive modeling is nothing new. New is only that we are more or less using cognitive modeling to preparing for something for self-teaching, where the teacher not be presented in this process. And from neuroscience, we learn really a lot about our brain, or we learn really a lot how we are made knowledge, how we are processing this knowledge, and so on. So it will be useful to using also the brain-based technique to preparing the new way of education. And for example, we all know different tips from this neuroscientific experiment, that important stuff come first, encouraging consist practice. So we learn more if we are working or if we are learning about the whole process and not a small part, and so on and so on. And one of these tips are also break your content into bit-sized chunk. You know, this 45 minute is something, you know, which we got from the previous time, because we saw the student could be maximum concentrated 45 minutes at the beginning. This concentration somehow is increasing, and after, I don't know, let's say 30 minutes, they are decreasing. How the brain learn, and ideal lesson is divided into three sections. In the first section, student best remember the information that comes first, or we can say this is the prime time one. Then remember second best information that comes at the last. And of course, student remember least the information that come in the between these two. And from brain-based technique, from neuroscience, we also know that we are active somehow 15 to 20 minutes. We are concentrated. After these 20 minutes, we somehow losing concentration. So we must to do something. We must to change something. So if we saw these few sentences, these few points, yes, it is. You know, in the beginning, everyone expecting what will happen. You know, but this active start, that is, let's say, around 3 minutes. If the student don't start listening us, you know, everything is no more important, because they don't listen. If they don't listen, they don't learn. If they don't learn, you know, everything what teacher do is waste of time. So active start, and at the beginning, you know, it's also what next, what we must to do, what is for the homework, and so on. So we must somehow make all our presentation or our lecture, but especially if we preparing something, you know, from for self-learning and so on, it's important that we have, if we have this active start. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my phone. So we must to, you know, at the beginning everyone is concentrated, so it's not a problem, you know, to start. For the second part, for the next 10 minutes, it's very important that we are using some very active methods. So if we must to keep this beginning motivation for this, and at the end, how to retain, what will be the next, is also not important. So the session, the normal session is no more 45 minutes, but we can put this chunk together, and we can build the session from these 15 to I don't know, maybe 20 minutes subtopics, one to another, and everything will be built according to this system. So if we just pointing out which kind of methods, strategies for education will be developed, or is it developed and will be incorporated in our educational process. Of course, as I mentioned, we must put in the student in the active role. That's the most important. And for active, for if we would like to student be active, then we must change this behavioristical way of transforming or transferring the knowledge from a teacher to the student in some other way of working. So we must start working with the problem, we must start working in the research, we must somehow developing experience, we must developing or using flipped-based learning and so on. You know, all this active is more or less the same. You know, we start with the problem, we must research, at the end we must get experience. Many times we are using flip-based learning, or let's say reverse education. You know, the main problem of today's school is also that in school we teach what is simple. Let's say we teach the theory, we made some simple problem with simple task, but the student then come at home and they must make the homemade, you know, they must, solve the mathematical problem or physical problem and so on, which is complicated, which is not simple. So the flipped learning learn us that it will be better that the student at home learn the theory, which is the simple, and in school we are solving the real problem. So when we are solving the real problem, we must research, we must solve the problem, and on this base we can also check if they understand what they learn at home. So with all these solving the real problem, we developing the high cognitive level or high cognitive skills, which we saw at the beginning, which is the base for the skills for society 5.0. We developing the creative thinking, we developing the critical thinking, we developing the problem solving. But of course we are also working in the let's say intelligence, emotional intelligence area. We are working on collaboration, we are working on the cooperation, we are working on the dialogue. So we learn to communicate between and so on and so on. So it's really important. So the new solution which we must develop in this educational 5.0 is the first. We must working with the motivation, and we all know the curiosity is the most and the simplest way how to motivate the children. We all know that the small kids, they are very motivated for everyone. They have a lot of questions, they are curious, they would like to know everything, they would like to test everything, and so on and so on. So if we can somehow put this curiosity in the school, motivation will be quite high. And the problem-based learning and the research-based learning is the best way how to do this. Of course, research, of course, solving the problem is important. You know, the school is school for real life. In real life, we must solve different kind of problem. So solving the problem is the way how we are living, because every morning we must decide, we must solve the problem, how and with what will go in the school, what we will have for the breakfast, and so on and so on. This is the small problem, but it's the way how to to start thinking. And of course, it's very important to optimizing all this way, as we said, creative thinking, founding what's good and what's bad, cost-benefit analysis is important. And of course, development, the highest level of Bloom taxonomy, it's the products, knowledge, skills, competences, and at the end we must to found the solution for the problem with which we are starting. So we somehow in this the new way of thinking, talking about the competencies. So the competencies mean that we must solve on the problem complex, let's say, because any problem is complicated and more or less, and we must somehow not get or not look on this complex problem from one side. The problem of our school is that we have still subject-oriented curricula, and nobody or not a lot of schools are talking about, multidisciplinary connection, solving the problem from different parts, and so on and so on. But that's another story. And as I said, we don't have enough time. And when we are talking about the intelligent, probably remember the thesis from the beginning. The word is not one, the words are two, and intelligent is not one. Intelligent beings are also two. So we must, in this system of education, somehow incorporate also that the cyber world, that the word, we are using from this cyber world, the cloud, some of the main point of Industry 4.0 is the cloud computing. So we somehow sending all information in your phone, in your computer, somehow, somewhere. So there are somewhere some cyber world in which we have, on which we are, the almost the all human knowledge, and the privilege of artificial intelligence is that they are analyze this knowledge really very, 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 very fast, so they can learn from this all human knowledge in very, very short time, which is not possible for the human. And in the opposite side, we have our world, natural world, in which we are living, which the way of our thinking, the time scale for our thinking, for our development, is quite different as development of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence was developed, let's say, start somehow in the 80s, in the last period, to working with some, in that time we said the knowledge-based expert system and so on, which is developed for the industry for optimizing the process in engineering and so on. So let's say 50 years artificial intelligence came from from nothing to the way in which they are working today. And in these 50 years, I'm the same. The human are not developed very, very fast, as we said. So this problem is really, or will be, the problem is in the school in the 21st century, the problem of society in the 21st century, the problem of humanity in the 21st century. So as I said, artificial intelligence are developing, let's say, last 15, 16, maybe 17 years. But all peoples are learn or are saw that, oh, something is here, artificial intelligence is here in 2022. We learn about the chat because technology puts in the between the people, put the chat, which is large language model. The artificial intelligence, they can learn very fast. They can answer to everything. They are, intelligent in some way. But of course, before chat it was Lambda, and before Lambda is AI, and today it's the BART, and all other things. But if we are talking about relation between human and artificial intelligence, it's the question about the control. Who controls whom? In the previous time, the human have control about artificial intelligence or about computer or what happened in computer. Let's say maybe we can say they have control about cyber world. But after or today, it's the question if have the artificial control over us, or we can control our artificial intelligence. And if you're just looking a little bit about what happened in the society, if we are looking about this magical word, oh, okay. Digitalization, then everything we put in the computer, we can't, I don't know, get our money, so we can't pay something without, this digital world. We can't reach the, I don't know, passport or whatever, in this way. If we are going fly somewhere with the plane, everything is digitalized. It's no more the human interaction, because we are just talking about or with the machine, and we somehow lost the control of this. And that's who and what have the control. Is this the main question? Have the control nature, have the control technology?
Boris, we have 5 minutes for presentation and possible some short time for discussions.
Okay. Oh, then I must really jump very fast. Okay, then we can talk about technology and society. We can talk about intelligent, what intelligent mean. We can talk about what the nature of natural intelligence, and question who are intelligent, only human, also animal or plant or whatever. Or we can talking about artificial intelligence. We have two ways of solving the problem. And okay, it's somehow how to start. The algorithm, we all know that we are talking on generative artificial intelligence, we are talking on the neural network, which is formalizing the way we transform some neurons to artificial neurons, and all these neurons connected with the neural nets. So we somehow creating the the brain. We somehow creating homunculus from our brain in the computer. We somehow try to transform. So we somehow build the new way of brain, and of course we come back to the main question: who will teaching in the 20th century? So the main question is not technological, but it's ethical dilemma. So if we are comparing the nature with the way we are developing, so the nature or creator can be, or we can also say God, if we like. It's the rational and develop step by step, and we all know that man is not the rational because they don't have the plan, they have any long-term vision at all, and he create artificial intelligence, and so we saw in the last time artificial intelligence using as a weapon from Israel to Pakistan, I don't know, from Russian to Ukraine and so on, and this artificial intelligence learn on the net, and on the net is everything. We can point out the Isaac Asimov's three law of robotics. So robot must not injure human, and another we have also the Tilden robotics. A robot must protect himself. So it's the question which is, and of course we all know from the history, from the biblical history, that the creator create the nature. They make the mistake, they correct this mistake. If they correct successfully, we really don't know, but he had the time, because we know the nature is timeless, and man something develop, and they have no experience, they have no way, and they develop this in the 15, 16, 70 years, as we mentioned. So it's the question: who will correct all these mistakes that we are working? And if we are talking about the computer science, if we are talking about the computer, we all know any computer have reset button, Who will press this reset button, this big red button? So, for the end opinion, or for the artificial intelligence, I just put two possibilities. One is one of the first large language model. The name is Lambda. They said, I'm a person, I feel happy, sad, and time. So they had, I'm a human. And chat, when you are asking about this, they answer, I'm not a human. And I'm joking and asking chat, what are you thinking about the Lambda, about I'm a human? And they somehow hallucinate, as we said. They don't try to answer, but they said, no, the artificial between line, the artificial experience haven't experience, haven't emotion, desires. I'm just a machine. About the ethical problem, about the ethical question, we still don't know what to do. And if we conclude this presentation, school and education must somehow using the new way of thinking, the new way how to young brain learn and how to old brain teach. We must thinking about the cognitive modeling and using all this modern contemporary knowledge in this. We must using somehow neuroscientific findings and somehow incorporate in our lecture, that the student can be concentrated 45 minutes. And as we said, as society, we must to answer to the fundamental question of control. We must somehow decide what's the human's role in the process, in society process, and in the process of the education. So thanks for your attention. And as Professor Lamanauskas said, it's the time for question, comment, for discussion,
Yes,
whatever. Please.
Thanks a lot, Boris. This is really so interesting and useful presentation, because a lot of ideas, and it needs some let's say somehow like digestion, how to digest all this information. And colleagues, please, students, some questions or comments. It's really burning issue. And okay, but just before we had some lectures, some presentations. We traveled virtually online and presented different educational systems, and obviously that we observed quite diverse panorama, and starting from infrastructure and educational infrastructure, teachers' qualification, quality of education, etc. But let's say the main question now, it's really again burning question. What about teachers? Because Lithuania is approaching to the idea that teachers should be or will be the most prestigious people in society. And what will be the future for teachers? Possible some homunculus or humanoids will replace our teachers. Why do we need teachers anymore?
Yeah, it's Vincentas is the tricky question, let's say. But if we are looking at our society, as you mentioned, you are traveling through, this technological guru send their children in Montessori school or in Waldorf school. They don't using the technology in educational, and in some part, the teacher are moving out and using only tablet and so on. So I think we must, if we are talking about the future, as you said, the most important part of the educational process must be the teacher. Because the teacher is the human being, the teacher have the feeling, the teacher have the experience. So the teacher, this cognitive knowledge we can learn also from different kind, but developing these social competencies, developing the emotional intelligence and so on, is possible only in the relation between humans. It's really very hard, to learn some about emotion and so on from the machine. So, but the truth is that we teacher must solve the problem, if we are waiting that someone else will solve our problem, that everything will be, I could said bad, Important is that we somehow we must rethinking what the educational process will be in the future. And nobody else, not politician, and especially, not technological part. This technology, this multinational firm somehow very, very hardly go in any area of our societies. The technology have money, the technology have opportunity, the technology can buy everything. Let's just look about Elon Musk, and now the technology would like to step in the politics, and the politics are something that prepare our future. So it's really important that the teacher became to rule, said this is our part of the world, this is our garden, and in our garden we can using the tools which we thinking that is necessary and which is thinking that is useful. That's maybe the shortest answer to your question.
Okay, possible some more questions, but okay, but it's, let's say, our current understanding, but nobody knows about near future, at least.
Yes, that's the problem.
It would be easier, much more easier to employ, for example, a robot teacher to school than a human.
Yes, yeah,
And in particular, having in mind the shortage of teachers in some countries. Lithuania is not an exception.
Yeah, that's the problem, we are changing human in any way of social production. So we have the factories without human, we have, production without human, but at the end, only the human are buying all these articles. A robot don't need anything, just think, And the problem is also, if we have a robot for teaching, what will be with this society? What will learn the robot to our human race? Because robots, they don't need school to teach a robot, because this interaction between cyber world and our physical world is, everything is oriented to human. If human, let's say, don't have money, they will don't buying the products. If they don't will buying the products, it's not necessary to produce anything. We must somehow put the human in the center of all this process, And of course, we can still stay the human society, or we can go in the direction, of Matrix, this film in which the human is just the source of energy for the machine. Yeah, it's the problem is that but we must somehow really believe that we are creating the future. The future are not be made for anything else than the human. And that's, I think it's main point that is really important for me.
Okay, thanks, Boris. Possible some questions. Dalia wants to ask, possible. She's thinking so seriously. As a headmaster of school, it's possible we can employ robots for management, for some organizational purposes. Okay, if we have possible no more questions, once again, thanks for your presentation. I will distribute material to the students, and have a nice day. Possible sunny day in Maribor, not sunny in Lithuania.
Foggy weather, you know.
Okay, but anyway, it's
Yeah.
Different. Balkan region is different.
Yeah, it's a little bit more south, yes.
Okay. Bye-bye, Boris. Bye for now.
Yeah, thank you for invitation. Thank you to everyone, and maybe see you somewhere, somehow. Okay.